Hi everyone, I'm True Soul, and this is my Star Wars Black Series unboxing haul video? Yeah guys, I've been doing a few of these videos every now and then, but I feel like this video is probably one of the biggest hauls that I've had, and I'm actually really excited to get into all these figures. There's two in particular which that I wasn't actually planning on getting, but hey, I was in the right place at the right time, so they're here, and I'm not gonna ramble too much. Let's go ahead and get straight into the review. I have 6 different figures to show you guys today, and let's go ahead and start off with the first one I got, which is the Knight of Ren. So yeah guys, I was at my local Walmart. I went by the toy section. Usually my Walmart, be dropping the ball when it comes to having the latest toys. But I went down that aisle, and lo and behold, they had, what did they have? They had some Sith First Order, like Jet Troopers. They had some of the Empire Strike Back toys, which I didn't get because I pre-ordered a good bit of them, and some of them I already have. And they had one Knight of Ren, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, should I get the Knight of Ren, or should I get the red First Order Stormtrooper, like the Jet Trooper or whatever? And I was like, there's literally one Knight of Ren left. If I don't go ahead and get him, if I come back, he's not gonna be there. So I went ahead and got him, and he's gonna be the first toy that we're gonna be reviewing, guys. And let's just get right into it. Starting with the overall look, I really like the way this Knight of Ren looks. On the packaging, he doesn't have a name. It just says Knight of Ren, but I know some of you sequel experts out there will actually know his name. So if you could kindly tell me who this guy is in the comments down below, I'd really appreciate that, and then I can actually start calling him by his name. So yeah. Overall look, I really like this Knight of Ren a lot. You can just look at him and tell that he's supposed to be a Knight of Ren with his helmet design and everything. I like the straight black with he has a little bit of dirt on his torso piece and his boots, which I think is there because this Knight of Ren is based off of how they looked in Rise of Skywalker. And I think they were on that one desert planet just staring menacingly at Rey and them and not doing anything, but we're But yeah, I really like the design of them a lot. I actually think it was a pretty good idea for them to go with the soft goods instead of making his robe out of cloth. Even though it does kind of hinder leg articulation. There was a few kick poses that I was trying to get him in and I couldn't get him in it, but because of these soft good the soft good material around his legs. But I actually don't mind all that much. Most of the poses that I want to get him in, I can get him in, and that's what really matters. Yeah, when it comes to his weapons, he comes with some type of, I don't know what you would call this. It looks like some type of hooked, stick thing, and he comes with a blaster, which I really like the blaster a lot. I like getting him in different poses with the melee weapon and the blaster. Really cool figure, man. I think it's because of this figure, it actually makes me like to pose and display my Kylo Ren more with this Knight of Ren, backing him up. It's just a really cool figure. Just makes me sad that the Knights of Ren didn't really get to do anything in the movies, just like so many other characters. Boba Fett, Captain Phasma, they all look cool, but at the end of the day, they all just die. How sad. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna need Hasbro. I'm gonna need y'all to make the rest of the Knights of Ren, if you don't mind, so I can pose them all with Kylo Ren. That would be very nice. Thank you very much. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next figure of my review, which is another figure that I got from Walmart that I wasn't expecting on bumping into, and that is, I really hope I don't say this wrong, Zorii Bliss, which was that kind of bounty hunter lady from Rise of Skywalker. Really cool design, sadly wasn't introduced until the last movie of the trilogy, but we're not going to talk about that right now. One thing that stood out to me a lot about this figure is her helmet. I never noticed how elongated it was, which is weird because I watched the movie, and I mean, she was wearing her helmet in the movie, but I wasn't really grasped, like, the back of her helmet's really long, which it actually reminds me of, I don't know if any of you guys even know about this game. They used to play this game called MDK, and there was this one character in there, his name was Kurt, who had kind of like an elongated helmet, but I think his was pointed forward instead of backwards. But yeah, for any of you guys that know who that is, that's what this elongated piece on the helmet kind of reminded me of. But yeah, in terms of the overall look, has a pretty sleek look. There's little bits of armor here and there. I really like the kind of, I guess it's more like a burgundy kind of color of the spandex part. It looks a little bit more darker and dirtier, not really bright and comic booky, which most of the Star Wars stuff doesn't really look comic booky, but I thought that looked pretty good. I also noticed like the bits of like gold like on her helmet and the armor. I actually, for some reason, when I was watching that, I thought that was silver, but it's more of either like a bronzish or goldish kind of look. I guess it kind of depends on what lighting you have her under. But another cool little thing, guys, that I didn't know at first is you can actually pop off her visor and her eyes are exposed, which I think is kind of cool. It's funny, she never took her helmet off in the movie, so we have no idea what she actually looks like. But anyway, I think that's a cool little feature. I don't know why you would want to take the visors off, but if you do, then there you go, you can take them off. In terms of weapons, she comes with two what almost look like pirate guns. They're so long. Because of these two pirate guns, they're kind of fun to get into poses and whatnot. Speaking of poses, I almost forgot about her articulation. It's funny because mostly a lot of the female characters probably have some of the best posability because a lot of them don't have weird pieces of armor or robes blocking, their articulation. Their arms and their legs, for the most part, have total free movement, so you can get them into more poses. Like for example, Zori Bliss can go into a full T pose, and Nyna Rin can too. But I have a lot of figures, mostly the armored ones, stormtroopers and clones, that cannot do a T pose. How sad. But yeah, overall, really like this figure a lot. But it's kind of funny how a character just being in one movie can, pique your interest level and make you like them in some ways more than other characters that have been in multiple movies, which is kind of sad. But I'm not going to dwell on that. Let's go ahead and keep moving on. I got my 2 sequel trilogy figures, but now it's time to move on into the meat and potatoes of this review, and that is my Star Wars Black Series Trooper 4-pack. I actually don't know what this pack is officially called. I've heard some people call it the Evolution of the Trooper or whatever. I don't know. All I know is it comes with 4 troopers. It comes with a Phase 1 clone commander that you see in Attack of the Clones. It comes with a Phase 2 clone trooper, a Imperial Stormtrooper, and 1 First Order Stormtrooper Commander, I believe. Yeah, all these figures are pretty great. I kind of more or less have figures that are like these, but they're slightly different variants. When it comes to articulation, they kind of have the same articulation that their former versions have had, because they're more or less the same ones. And unfortunately, with the clone troopers and sometimes the stormtroopers, their articulation is hindered because of their armor. But I'm just going to do a quick overview, and we're going to start off with the Clone Commander. This is actually the first Phase 1 Clone Trooper that I have. You've probably seen other videos where I took pictures with a Phase 1 Clone Trooper. That's actually not mine. That's my brother's Phase 1 Clone Trooper. So this is actually the first Phase 1 Clone Trooper that I've ever had. And I'm gonna tell you what, I like it a lot. I mean, yeah, it has the same body as like other Clone Troopers that I have. But, you know, the helmet always looked really unique to me with they have like the fin and all that. Definitely doesn't look quite like other helmets that we've seen in Star Wars, so it's really good to have that one a lot. The funny thing about this Clone Commander is he comes with a default Clone Trooper rifle and the smaller gun, but his look like they have like one little like white piece of like white paint on there, I guess to signify that he's, you know, the commander, you know, that those are his weapons. But, you know, it's whatever. Really cool figure. Glad to have him on my collection. Now, all I need is maybe 1 or 2 default Clone Troopers for him to, you know, bark orders at. But, yeah, as long as I have a clone to tell Master Yoda that the droid army's in full retreat, then I'm good.
The droid army is in full retreat.
Well done, Commander. Bring me a ship.
Moving on to the next one is the Phase 2 default Clone Trooper. Now, I'm a big fan of the Phase 2 Clone Troopers. Are probably some of my favorite versions of the Clone Troopers, because I just like how, just from looking at the helmet, you can kind of see how they like were slowly integrating into the Stormtroopers that we see in the original trilogy. Even though, depending on what stories you believe are canon, is, you know, whether or not the Clone Troopers turned into the Stormtroopers or whatever. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the figure. Once again, pretty much on the default clone body, but the only thing that's really different is the helmet. Now, I know that these clone bodies are kind of hindered in articulation. I heard that they're supposed to be coming out with a new Clone Trooper. I think it's called the Kamino Clone Trooper. I'll show a picture of him. But apparently that one's rumored to have a little bit better articulation, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes out. For now, as long as I can get these clones into a shooting pose, is fine, because I'm mostly going to be posing them, you know, fighting alongside Jedi, so it doesn't really matter all that much to me. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to this Stormtrooper. Now, I've been needing a second Stormtrooper for a while now, and now I finally have one. But there's something a little bit different about this Stormtrooper. This Stormtrooper looks like he have like some blasters, like marks on him, which is weird because I didn't think this armor actually protected you from blaster fire. But yeah, I finally have one extra Stormtrooper, and it's funny because they're also supposed to be coming out with a new body for the Stormtrooper, which from some of the pictures, I'll show you one. It actually looks a little bit more accurate to how they kind of looked in the movie. They look a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more clunky looking, but the articulation is rumored to actually be better, so that's good. I don't know how many of those I'll get. Depending on how good they are, I might end up replacing these Stormtroopers with them, but I don't know. I probably won't, just for some, you know, army building options. I probably won't get rid of them, but I will be looking into those newer Stormtroopers. But yeah, nothing really different about this Stormtrooper other than the battle scuffage on him. So yeah, moving on to the last trooper in the box, the First Order Stormtrooper Commander. Now, funny thing is, I feel like the First Order Stormtroopers, in small ways, kind of has slightly better articulation than the clones and the Stormtroopers. Not a whole lot, but slightly more. And I think it might be because their armor design is a little bit more slick But, even the First Order Stormtrooper still has some problems that the other troopers had. For example, none of these troopers can look up to save their life. They can all look down, can't look up. But, once again, this is kind of another one of those things where, especially with not the clone commander, this First Order Stormtrooper commander, I'm probably not gonna even be trying to get him to a whole lot of poses since he's supposed to be like an officer or whatever. Oh, he's an officer? Oh. The packaging says officer, I think. Well, officers can command, so there. But yeah, most of them just gonna be having a lot of photos of him pointing, telling the other stormtroopers what to do, telling the riot trooper to stop calling him a traitor, even though he is a traitor, but he's just getting tired of saying it all the time. Stuff like that. So yeah, when it comes to the troopers, mostly prioritizing on army building. It would be cool if I could get them into more poses. I've been trying to get the clone troopers into a good kneeling pose while shooting. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't, but I really wish that they had some slightly better articulation. But yeah, guys, these are all the figures that I have today. When I think about what my favorite one is in terms of articulation, I like the Nyda Ren and Zora Bliss the best, since they don't have armor pieces that hinder their movement. In terms of overall look, I have to give it to the Nyda Ren. He just looks really cool, and I really like taking pictures of him a lot. However, in terms of upgrades for my collection, my favorite would be the Phase 2 default clone trooper, and probably the Phase 1 clone commander, since I don't have a Phase 1 clone trooper until now. But I've also never had a default clone trooper until now either, so really like them a lot as well. And if I had to give one more point, probably in terms of color, I'd probably have to give it to Zora Bliss, because she'll be one of those figures that'll kind of pop out a little bit more in my collection. I don't know if any of you see my collection video, but mostly figures that really pop out in that collection is probably by Imperial Guard, because he's the only red action figure I have. So yeah, maybe that bronze and burgundy color will help Zuri stand out among all the rest, among all the people wearing black and white. But yeah, guys, that's gonna conclude my haul video today. This one went a little bit longer than expected, but that's okay. That was a good bit to talk about. Guys, my collection is coming together pretty well, and the best part is there's even more to come. I'm still waiting on my Attack of the Clone figures, guys. I cannot wait to get my hands on those. I'll definitely do a haul video on those, guys. That's gonna be awesome. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Be sure to follow me on my Twitter, as you'll stay updated whenever I have plans for a new video. And also, if you're into action figure photos, go follow me on my Instagram, where I'll be posting all types of photos of my figures, including many of which that you don't see in my videos. So yeah, that's something that'd be kind of cool. But until then, be sure to like, subscribe, and go to my channel to check out other videos. Catch you later.